I think if you go in with doubt, man, I just think that's terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I think because now you're fighting yourself and them too.
You remember the Mike Tyson fights when he was in his prime?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the look in those guys' faces?
Oh, yeah.
And they're staring across the ring at him and like, oh, Jesus, what did I sign up for?
Yeah, they're thinking, I don't know what the money was here, but it wasn't worth it. This seemed like a good idea at the time.
It was a life-changing, life-defining moment when you were staring across the ring at Iron Mike, and it was like 1989, and he was on top of the world.
Yeah, and you knew he was going to come over there and hit you like you had not ever been hit before.
Yeah, guns blazing.
Yeah, and he
firing.
did.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah. Meanwhile, you meet him now, he's like the nicest guy on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Couldn't be a sweeter guy.
Yeah, I talked to him today. He's got a daughter that's apparently a pretty good tennis player.
Really?
And he's really behind her now and focused on that.
That was him back then. That was when he came out of jail and he's fighting Peter McNeeley.
Yeah.
He's just letting him know, it's coming, baby. Terrifying, man.
But he was never as formidable after jail as he was before he went in.
Yeah, no. Well, there's a ton of factors. His training was never the same. He lost that connection with Customato. He had Customato training him when he was at his very best, and then Kevin Rooney, who worked with Customato and Mike, trained him after that, and then they eventually parted ways. And that was before the Buster Douglas fight. Remember, he had guys in his corner that didn't even have an end swell. I mean, his eye was swelling up, and they didn't even have ice to put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of factors. But also, when I talked to Mike on the podcast, one of the things was, and this was just him sort of coming to grips with the fact that he never really had a childhood. His childhood was from the time he was 12 years old. Customato took him in, was hypnotizing him and teaching him how to fight. And then hypnotizing him to be a machine. Just going, he was literally saying to him, you don't exist. The task exists. The job at hand exists. And you're going to go out there and you're going to get the job done. And he was telling this to a 13-year-old that never experienced love. He just was abandoned and homeless, and this is the only way he ever got any sort of positive reinforcement in his life is by destroying people.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's sad. But, now he seems to really be connected to his daughter. I mean, you see and hear a softness in his voice. He really is connected to her.
Yeah. He learned. I mean, it's easy to try to look at someone like who they were, 20 years ago. It's easy to do that. It's easy to just say, oh, he's that guy. But people evolve and they grow, and he's a great example of that. He's a very different person. He doesn't even work out because he's worried about his ego. Like he doesn't hit the bag or do anything like that. It's occasionally get on a treadmill and work out a little bit on a treadmill just to get a little exercise in. But he's worried about feeding his ego. He's worried about looking at himself in the mirror and bringing that old monster back again.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Huh. Yeah, I'd think he'd be afraid of not being able to get back to the level he was.
I don't think he's afraid of that. I don't think he wants to be that guy.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't like that guy,
Yeah.
which is crazy because that guy is who made him rich and famous and everybody loves him because he was that guy. But who he is now is a completely different person, just a sweetheart, a real sweetheart.
Yeah, he seems like it. I mean, you'd never think to talk to him. If you didn't know his history, you'd never guess that was that guy.
Yeah, no, you never would.